The wildest part isn't that they don't clap for you. The wildest part is how fast the air leaves the room the second your name comes up. One message, one tiny notification, one, "Yo, you seen what they're doing now?" Dropped in that group chat, and everything goes dead. Typing bubbles disappear, jokes stop mid-sentence. People who were just sending memes for 2 hours straight suddenly discover do not disturb. You didn't walk into the room, you didn't say anything, you didn't defend yourself. All you did was exist loudly enough that somebody mentioned you, and every insecure nervous system in that thread went offline at the same time. That's the level of quiet power you're dealing with now. You don't even have to be present to rearrange people's moods. Your wins are sending out shockwaves in places you haven't stepped into for months. Understand something. People don't go silent over nobodies. Group chats don't freeze over people who are stuck where they left them. Silence is a luxury reserved for threats. When your name drops and everyone suddenly has to go, that's not coincidence, that's impact. Somewhere in that chat, somebody pulled up your page, your work, your progress, and realized what nobody wanted to admit out loud. You're actually winning, not just posting, not just talking, not just hinting, actually moving in a way that can't be laughed off anymore. And the second that realization lands, their little digital safe space turns into a crime scene. Because now they all have to confront the exact thing they promised each other would never happen. You outgrowing the storyline they wrote for you behind your back. Look closely at the pattern. They loved you as a subplot. You were easy content when you were confused, over-explaining, half-stepping. Your mistakes were entertainment. Your doubts were discussion topics. Your failures were free team-building exercises. They bonded over your almost. They sharpened their self-esteem on your less than. But then something shifted. You stopped narrating your every move. You stopped showing them the drafts. You stopped softening your edges to make your growth palatable. And instead of spiraling, you stabilized. Instead of begging for validation, you built your own metrics. You chose discipline over drama. You chose distance over proving yourself. That's when the group chat had to pivot from, "Yo, look at this," to, "Wait, how did they pull this off?" And no one wants to be the first to admit that the person they counted out is now lapping them quietly. This is where the real psychology starts. Every time someone drops your progress into that chat, your new routine, your new circle, your new mindset, your new results, it doesn't just land as news, it lands as accusation. Your growth exposes everything they refuse to do with their own potential. Your stamina highlights their laziness. Your consistency exposes their excuses. Your healing calls out their refusal to face their own wounds. You turned into a walking mirror they didn't consent to look into, and every screenshot of your success is a reflection they can't escape. That's why messages dry up. That's why the energy suddenly shifts. They're not just reacting to you. They're reacting to what you reveal about them. And when group chats stop being fun, people look for somewhere else to dump the discomfort. Enter the about $800 therapist, because make no mistake, they're not just casually annoyed, they're actually distressed about you. There is someone out there, sitting in a climate-controlled office, swiping their card for $150 a session, just to process the fact that you refused to stay where they placed you. They're laying on that couch talking about this one person they can't stop thinking about. And the therapist is nodding, thinking it's an ex, a parent, some tragic love story, only to find out the villain in their narrative is literally you, minding your business and winning. Your progress has become somebody's clinical case study in inability to cope. Picture it. They walk in every week like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just keep checking their page. It's like every time I open my phone, they've hit another milestone. New job, new body, new mindset, new people around them. They look different, happier, stronger, and it makes me sick. They won't say jealous. They won't say threatened. They'll use softer words like triggered, confused, concerned. But underneath all that language, the core issue is simple. You refuse to crumble the way they predicted, and now their entire emotional ecosystem is malfunctioning. They built a version of you in their head that doesn't exist anymore, and they don't know how to reconcile their fantasy with your reality. Here's the part their therapist is too professional to say. What's eating them alive isn't your success itself. It's the fact that you did it without their permission, without their applause, and without their participation. You upgraded your life without using them as a reference. You healed without giving them the satisfaction of a front row seat. You evolved without delivering a monologue explaining how much they hurt you. That's what's frying their circuits. They weren't just expecting you to fail. They were expecting to be the audience and the narrator of your failure. And now that you've rewritten your story, they don't have a role anymore. No villain, no victim, no savior. Just an extra. Watching the main character do what they said was impossible. This is why the therapist taps the pen, leans forward, and starts asking questions like, what do you feel when you see their progress? Because what they're really diagnosing is obsession disguised as concern. It's not, I hope they're okay. It's, why are they okay without me? It's not, I'm worried they've changed. It's, how dare they change while I stayed the same? Meanwhile, you're somewhere else, not even thinking about them, planning your next move, upgrading your habits, and minding your own sanity. The emotional imbalance is insane. One person paying $1,800 a month to replay old versions of you in their head, while the real you has already exited that storyline and is busy building the life that was always meant for you. Now here's the plot twist. Do you know who's actually in danger in that room? Not you, the therapist. Because even they have a limit. There comes a point where a professional gets tired of being paid to watch someone refuse accountability for their own stagnation. Session after session, your name comes up, your progress comes up, your energy comes up, and every route back to self-reflection gets dodged. No, I don't think they're the problem. Let's go back to what you can control. But they don't want to hear that. They want a diagnosis that makes you the villain and them the victim of your glow-up. They want a label that justifies their resentment. They want permission to keep resenting somebody who literally just got tired of suffering and chose better. At some point, even the therapist realizes this isn't about you at all. This is about their addiction to staying small. So imagine the day that therapist snaps. Not loudly, not dramatically, but internally. The moment they realize, I'm not getting paid enough to sit here and listen to you obsess over someone who's living their life. That's the quiet resignation, not from the job, but from the case. They may keep showing up, but emotionally, they've checked out. Because they know the truth. If your existence is causing this much chaos in someone who claims to be over you, you're not the problem. They're avoiding their own reflection. That's the moment the therapist spiritually quits. And trust, that resignation is louder than any group chat silence, because it marks the line where even a professional says, I can't help you until you stop using this person's success as your favorite excuse. You have to see the size of the ripple you're creating. People are rearranging their entire emotional budget around you. They'll say, "It's not that deep," but their screen time reports disagree. They'll say, "I don't care what they're doing," but their search history betrays them. They'll insist, "We don't talk about them like that," but those dead group chats tell a different story. People don't invest time, energy, and money into something that doesn't affect them. You are affecting them. Your boundaries are affecting them. Your no contact is affecting them. Your refusal to play the old role is affecting them. The fact that you are not collapsing on schedule is messing with their entire identity structure. And here's the part you need to tattoo onto your mindset. Their discomfort is not your problem to solve. Their group chat going silent is not an invitation for you to shrink so they can feel comfortable speaking again. Their therapy bills are not a sign from the universe that you need to dim your progress to help them adjust. You are not responsible for regulating nervous systems that only felt stable when you were losing. If your healing destabilizes them, that speaks to the fragility of their foundation, not the danger of your growth. You choosing yourself is not an act of violence. It just feels violent to people who relied on your self-betrayal to feel powerful. What you're witnessing now is spiritual reorganization. The universe is quietly exposing who only liked you when you were breakable, available, and easy to read. The ones who can celebrate you in this season are the ones who never needed you small to feel big. The ones who disappear, who go quiet, who ghost the chat when your name comes up. Those are the ones who were never clapping in the first place. They were just waiting for evidence that you'd fail so they could say, "See, told you." Instead, the evidence is stacking in the opposite direction. Every day, you collect more proof that you're not going back. More proof that your standards weren't too much. They were simply incompatible with their comfort. More proof that you were never the weak link. You were the threat disguised as the underdog. And the more that truth settles, the calmer you become. You start to understand that you don't need to clear your name in rooms you no longer sit in. You don't need to correct narratives built in chats you'll never see. You don't need to argue with projections you didn't consent to wear. Your life is becoming the loudest rebuttal. Every boundary, every upgrade, every silent win is a new data point that contradicts the version of you they circulate for comfort. You are not obligated to stay accessible to people who only reach for you when they need a reason to feel superior. That era is done. The access they had was a privilege and not a right, and the universe revoked it when you finally chose yourself over their comfort. So now the question shifts from, "Why don't they support me?" to something far more powerful. What am I going to do with this freedom they accidentally gave me? Because that's what their silence is, a release form. The group chats that died when your name came up. Those were doors closing so you could hear your own thoughts without their static. The therapist who mentally clocked out while they cried about you. That's the universe redirecting energetic attention back where it belongs, on you, not on their obsession. You're not here to babysit their insecurities. You're here to see how far your life can stretch when you stop anchoring yourself to people who only felt safe when you were stuck. And this is only the opening frame of what your life does once you stop apologizing for how far you can go. Because the moment you stop asking, "Why are they like this?" and start asking, "What am I building now that they're out of the way?" something very subtle and very dangerous happens. You stop orbiting them. Emotional gravity breaks. They're no longer the axis your decisions spin around. Their opinions become background noise instead of commandments. The second you really internalize that their group chat going dead is not a rejection, but a clearance, your energy shifts from analysis to execution. You stop mentally replaying who left you on read. You start asking, what happens if I actually commit to the version of me that scares them this much already? That's the real threat, not the success you've already manifested, the success you haven't even fully aimed at yet. Look at the map now. On one side, there's a whole thread of people who cannot speak when your name is in the air. On the other, there's you, with time, with space, with quiet, with clean emotional bandwidth that used to be cluttered with their nonsense. You're not locked out. You've been escorted out of a low-ceiling room. And what do people with that kind of forced solitude do when they're no longer trying to prove anything to the gallery? They build strange, terrifying levels of focus. You start doing the boring things nobody in that group chat has the nervous system to tolerate. You read instead of refresh. You practice instead of perform. You stack small, unglamorous habits that don't look legendary in the moment, but compound into the kind of life that turns their casual gossip into a chronic condition. This is where the gap widens. While they're staring at screens, waiting for someone else to speak first so they don't have to admit what they're feeling, you're quietly becoming unrecognizable. You're reorganizing your mornings. You're cleaning your environments. You're putting your phone across the room when you work. You're saying no to conversations that drain you before they even start. Every micro-boundary you enforce is you stepping 1 foot further out of the old narrative. And every step you take away from that story forces them to either evolve or watch in horror. As you keep winning from a distance, they can no longer bridge with a single message. Meanwhile, their internal storm doesn't calm just because the chat went quiet. They carry that tension everywhere. It follows them into work, into their relationships, into their sleep. They wake up, open their phone out of habit, and there you are again, showing up in some new way that contradicts the story they sold themselves. They tell people, we don't care what they're doing, and then spend the next hour doom-scrolling your progress. That dissonance builds. Their nervous system can't keep holding the weight of pretending you're irrelevant while their body reacts to everything you do like a threat. That's how you end up back in the therapist's office, week after week, bleeding out resentment into someone who's just trying to help them find themselves in the mess. And the therapist? At first, they're neutral. They listen, they validate, they tease out emotions. But session after session, a pattern emerges. Your name is a recurring character in a story that never moves. Every week, it's, they posted this, and it made me feel. They did that, and now I can't stop thinking. Why does it bother me so much that they seem happy? The therapist gently redirects. What does this say about your needs, about your sense of self, about your goals? But your enemies aren't trying to understand themselves. They're trying to get a professional to co-sign the narrative that you're the problem. They're chasing a diagnosis that turns their jealousy into something respectable. There's a point where even the most patient therapist recognizes what's really happening. They don't want healing, they want permission. They want someone with letters after their name to say, you're right, their success is unfair. But actual healing doesn't work like that. So the therapist asks harder questions. Why are you measuring your life against someone who is no longer in your orbit? What stops you from creating your own version of success? What part of you feels threatened by their growth? Those questions land like grenades, and instead of picking up the pieces, they get offended, because now the spotlight is moving off of you and onto the real issue, their refusal to grow. This is how you accidentally exhaust licensed professionals. Not because you're evil, not because you're cursed, but because your life is being misused as a distraction from their own. The therapist is human too. They go home after back-to-back sessions, and your name keeps popping up in their notes. Different clients, same trigger. One person is worried about you, another is hurt by you, another is confused by your change. The common thread isn't you. It's how many people built their emotional stability on the expectation that you would never actually change. And now that you have, the ripple is so strong that it's warping entire networks of relationships and conversations. And while all this is happening in rooms and chats you're not in, what are you doing? You're minding your business and taking the freedom seriously. You start treating their silence like a budget. You realize, if they're not spending their words on me publicly, I'm not spending my energy on them internally. You invest that reclaimed energy into skills, into health, into projects, into environments that don't punish you for expanding. You become hyper-intentional with access. You stop over-explaining your boundaries. You stop defending your standards. You stop giving front-row seats to people who are only there to study your reactions. This new level of emotional discipline is exactly what terrifies them. Because for the first time, you're not only winning, you're winning sustainably. That's when the group chat panic upgrades into strategy. Silence doesn't feel like enough anymore. Somebody will test the waters. They'll send a half-joke, half-dagger message like, "Y'all seen their latest? They're doing the most." Waiting to see who bites. Waiting to see who's brave enough to say what they're all thinking. Low-key, it's impressive, but nobody wants to break rank. Admitting you're winning would mean acknowledging they misjudged you. It would mean rewriting the narrative from "they're delusional" to "they were just early." That's a level of humility the room wasn't built for. So instead of praise, they try minimization. It's just a phase. Give it a few months. They're probably miserable behind the scenes. Anything to avoid confronting the one possibility they fear the most. You're actually at peace. And the more they minimize you in private, the more your reality refuses to cooperate with their script. Their predictions keep failing. They said you'd fold when things got quiet. You didn't. They said you'd crawl back when you felt lonely. You built new connections instead. They said you'd never maintain this discipline. You turned it into your default setting. Every wrong prediction is another blow to their credibility in their own mind. Because if they were this wrong about you, what else are they wrong about? That question is like acid to anyone whose entire personality is built on believing they can read people. Suddenly their favorite hobby, talking about you, starts making them feel powerless instead of superior. So they double down on therapy. More sessions, more money, more hours used trying to dissect a person who isn't even in the room. But the therapist isn't blind. They see the loop. They see how often conversations pivot back to you. They see how little responsibility is taken. At some point, they have to protect the integrity of the work. That's where the quiet quitting becomes official. Maybe they say, "I think it's time we end our work together if you're not ready to focus on your own life." Maybe they set a boundary. "We're not going to discuss this person next session. Let's go into your goals instead." To your enemies, it feels like betrayal. Their $800 bought them confrontation instead of comfort. From the therapist's perspective, it's self-preservation. Nobody wants to be paid to watch someone cling to their resentment like it's a personality trait. And here's the twisted beauty of it. Your existence is now exposing not just fake friends and old acquaintances, but also the limits of avoidance in people who claim they want healing. You are unintentionally triggering dissolutions, friend circles, group chats, therapy alliances. Anywhere your name shows up, false stability starts cracking. Not because you're cursed, not because you're causing harm, but because your life is now a stress test. If something isn't built on truth, your growth will shake it. A group chat built on mutual underestimation of you, dead. A social circle built on laughing at your losses, fragmented. A therapeutic journey built on, it's everyone else's fault but mine, terminated. All you did was stop performing your pain for them, and the entire ecosystem started collapsing under its own dishonesty. So what do you do with that? You could waste your time feeling guilty, apologizing for being a walking catalyst. Or you could recognize this for what it is, proof that you were never as small as they tried to convince you. You were always operating at a voltage that their circuits weren't designed to hold. That's why they had to turn you into a joke, into a warning, into a cautionary tale. It made them feel safe. Now the joke isn't landing. The warning doesn't apply, and the cautionary tale is outliving every prediction. So they're left staring at the uncomfortable truth. The person they thought would be the caution became the blueprint. Little by little, you start to detach your identity from their reactions. You stop checking who watched your stories. You stop decoding passive-aggressive posts. You stop rereading old messages for closure. You realize the closure you were waiting for is happening in rooms you can't see. It's happening in the silence after your name gets dropped. It's happening in the awkward stares when someone slips and admits, honestly, they're doing well. It's happening in the moment a therapist closes a file and thinks, if you channeled half the energy you spend on stalking this person into your own goals, you might be standing beside them, not beneath them. All of that is closure in disguise. You may never hear it, but it's happening. And as this awareness settles in, your relationship to your own success changes. It stops being a revenge fantasy and becomes a responsibility. If your mere progress is enough to trigger this much spiritual and psychological rearrangement, what happens when you get intentional? What happens when you stop running from your potential because it makes people uncomfortable and start running toward it because it's your assignment? The same way your healing is exposing some people, your discipline will inspire others. The same way your name killed conversations in one chat, it will fuel courage in another. There are people quietly watching you who aren't threatened. They're taking notes. They're not in the group chat that died. They're in a different space entirely, one where your wins don't suffocate the room. They oxygenate it. The irony is cruel in the most beautiful way. The group chat that went dead when someone said you're winning thought they were protecting themselves from discomfort by not talking about you. Instead, they protected you from their low-frequency analysis. Their silence became insulation. Without their constant commentary, you had room to hear your intuition more clearly. Without their instant hot takes, you had space to experiment, to fail in peace, to refine your process. In trying to keep you out of their narrative, they accidentally took themselves out of your storyline. That's the kind of protection only the universe can orchestrate, using their own pettiness as a tool. And the therapist who mentally resigned in the face of their obsession, that resignation sent shockwaves through their sense of control. when even a professional is done hearing about you, it forces a terrifying realization. You are not the one spinning in circles. They are. You moved. You changed. You evolved. They stayed anchored in a past version of you and called it analysis. The professional who was supposed to help them unpack that finally says, "Enough. Look at yourself." That's not just a therapeutic boundary. That's cosmic confirmation that your role in their story is over. Your chapter in their life isn't just closed, it's archived. The only one replaying it is them. So you sit with that truth. You are no longer the main character in their narrative. You are the plot twist they keep referencing to avoid doing the work. But you're done being a reference. You're busy being a reality. You're busy being the person who didn't just survive their doubt, but turned it into the quiet fuel that powers your next level. Every dead group chat, every drained therapy session, every awkward silence when your name surfaces, those are just receipts. Receipts that confirm what you already suspected. You were never asking for too much. You were always carrying too much for people who had no intention of meeting you where you were going. And as this realization hardens into clarity, something else surfaces beneath it. Something colder, calmer, far more strategic. If this is the chaos your early wins created, what happens when you step fully into the version of you that's been pacing in the back of your mind for years? If you're half committed, still healing, still doubting self, was enough to send rooms into shutdown mode, what would a fully aligned, fully disciplined, unapologetically focused version of you do to the spaces you're about to enter? That question doesn't just haunt them, it starts to wake you up in a different way. Because now the conversation isn't about them at all. It's about the scale of your own potential and whether you're finally ready to match it. You don't announce that decision. You don't post a graphic. You don't make a speech about cutting people off. You just start moving differently. You choose the harder option more often. You choose the long-term payoff over the short hit. You choose your purpose over your ego. You choose rooms that stretch you instead of rooms that worship the old you. Quietly, consistently, ruthlessly, you become the kind of person who doesn't need their support, their applause, or their understanding. And somewhere, in a muted group chat and a closed therapy file, the energy shifts again, because whether they want to or not, they're about to feel the next phase of your evolution in ways even they don't have language for yet. From the outside, it looks boring. No public fallout, no dramatic farewell post, no speech about cutting off fake people. Just absence. Your name stops appearing where it used to. You stop reacting to bait. You stop oversharing. You stop giving free episodes of your life for them to binge and dissect. Your attention goes from them back to your own life. Earlier nights, clearer mornings, less scrolling, more building, less explaining, more executing. They think you fell off the radar. Reality, you fell out of their range. They can't read you like they used to, and for control addicts, that's worse than any argument. But the universe has timing that feels like disrespect. Just when they all decide, silently, that they're over you, your name walks back into the room they sealed off. That group chat. It's never loud. It's always something small. Y'all seen them lately? Random, but did you see what they posted? Someone drops a screenshot. Your new routine, your new body, your new project, your new calm. The room tenses, waiting for the roast. They're ready for the same old script, until one person breaks formation and types the sentence everyone's tried not to think. Low-key, they're winning. And right there, the soul of the chat flatlines. Bubbles appear, vanish, never land. Phones go dark. People suddenly become busy. That one line drops like a power cut. Because their winning isn't about aesthetics. It's about the fact that you aren't collapsing on schedule. It's about seeing your eyes and realizing the chaos behind them has been replaced by something stable. It's about knowing you made it out of the mental maze they're still wandering through. If you're winning, then all the narratives they built, they'll never change. They're all talk. They're finished without us. Have to be rewritten. Nobody wants that assignment, so they pretend they didn't see it. They close the app, but the sentence lingers. They stalk you in private, zooming in on your photos, analyzing your captions, trying to find cracks that reassure them. They look tired. They probably faking it. Bet it won't last. They say it out loud like a spell, hoping repetition will make it true. But the photos keep changing. The energy keeps changing. The results keep stacking. Your name is now carrying proof instead of pity, and they have to feel that in their chest without anyone saying another word. The one who dropped, their winning, feels the temperature shift too. They realize they broke an unspoken law. Don't acknowledge your growth. They scramble to water it down. I mean, like for now, I'm just saying they look different. But the damage is done. Truth already detonated in the room. Even in silence, every person in that thread just got handed a mirror. If they can heal and build, what's my excuse? Where do they run with that discomfort? Back to the $1,800 sanctuary. Picture the therapist's office, soft lighting, neutral decor, a chair that's heard it all. And in that chair sits someone paying premium rates to discuss a person they claim to be done with. Your name arrives before the session even warms up. So something weird happened in the group chat. Ever since they started glowing up, I just feel on edge. It's like everything they do gets under my skin. They present it as confusion, concern, injustice. Underneath all that vocabulary, the core is simple. It bothers me that they got out of a story I'm still stuck in. The therapist listens, but internally, they've clocked the pattern. This isn't the first session your name has headlined. It's not even the fifth. Every time your life moves forward, this person emotionally regresses. Every win you have sends them into a spiral. Every boundary you hold gets framed as selfish or fake. The therapist keeps trying to redirect. What do you want for yourself? Who are you outside of this relationship? But somehow every road circles back to you. That isn't healing. That's addiction with a copay. There comes a point where even a professional decides enough. So one day, after yet another rant about how much your existence irritates them, the therapist drops a different kind of question. If this person never changed again, would your life suddenly feel better? Or are they just the easiest place to park feelings you don't want to deal with? That lands like a punch. The client stares, stalls, changes the subject, tries to drag your name back into the center. The therapist doesn't follow this time. They set a boundary. Next week, we're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about you. Translation: I'm done being your paid audience for a storyline that refuses to move. That's the moment the therapist quietly quits you. Not because you did anything, but because they're done letting your image be the scapegoat for someone else's refusal to grow. Your enemies leave that office unsettled. The one place they expected to buy unconditional validation just handed them a mirror instead. That's why they're mad at two people now. You, for daring to improve, and the therapist, for refusing to keep translating their jealousy into symptoms that make them look innocent. Meanwhile, you're nowhere in this loop. You're not posting subliminals. You're not checking their status. You're not asking mutuals what's being said. You're too busy living the exact life their nervous systems can't handle you having. Your group chat right now is your calendar, your to-do list, your vision board, your journal. You're in meetings, in workouts, in deep focus, in solitude, in prayer, in plotting sessions with your future. The only therapist you're visiting is the part of you that used to beg to be chosen, and you're finally telling it, we don't chase rooms that can't handle us anymore. Here's the dark joke the universe is making with all of this. They turned you into the villain of a story you already left, and then got emotionally winded trying to keep up with your plotline from the outside. Their group chat died the second someone told the truth. Their sessions drained out the second a professional refused to co-sign their delusion. All that time, you were just doing the one thing they hoped you'd never figure out how to do. Stop orbiting them and start orbiting your purpose. Once you see it that clearly, the revenge fantasy gets boring. You don't need screenshots. You don't need their confessions. You don't need to watch their faces as they realize the therapist is done using you as a human shield for their issues. You already have your receipts, the silence, the obsession, the money spent processing a person who doesn't even know they're the main topic. Those are all proof of impact. People do not emotionally bankrupt themselves over background characters. They only spiral like this over threats. So you pick a different kind of revenge. Precision. You get serious about your time. You start treating your focus like it's sacred. You stop trying to prove your goodness to people who survive off misreading you. You stop answering questions you didn't sign up for. You refine your circle down to the ones who don't flinch when your name and the word winning exist in the same sentence. You become the kind of person whose baseline is so aligned that if someone new met you today, the old stories people tell about you would sound like bad fiction. And as you do that, a new pattern emerges. In the wrong rooms, your name kills conversations. In the right rooms, it sparks strategy. Somewhere else, far away from that dead chat and that exhausted therapist, someone says, "Have you seen what they've done with their life after all that?" And the response is not silence, it's respect. People lean in. They're not trying to drag you. They're trying to decode you. They're not threatened that you're winning. They're inspired that you didn't let what tried to break you become your whole personality. That's the ecosystem you were always built for. Spaces where your progress doesn't trigger collapse. It triggers courage. So when your mind replays the line, their group chat went dead the second somebody said you're winning, don't hear shame in it. Hear diagnosis. That was the exact moment reality walked into the room and every false version of you died on contact. And when you think about, they paid $1,900 this month just to cry about you. Therapists still quit anyway. Understand how poetic that is. That's a spiritual invoice. That's the cost of staring at your growth and refusing to grow themselves. You didn't ruin their peace. You simply stopped sacrificing yours to maintain their illusions. You didn't break their circle. You just left, and the weak wiring exposed itself once your energy was no longer holding it together. You didn't make their therapist give up. Their refusal to take responsibility did. All you did was finally treat your life like it was serious. And everything that was built on joking about you, doubting you, or feeding off your pain cracked under the pressure of you becoming real. Let it all stay dead. The chat. the narrative. The version of you they debate like a rumor instead of respecting like a fact. Let them keep funding sessions to process someone who has already moved on. You're not their case study. You're not their cautionary tale. You're not their favorite failure. You are the proof that a person can be underestimated, misunderstood, mishandled, and still wake up one morning and say, "Enough. I'm done performing my suffering for people who clap for my confusion." From here on out, the only people who survive saying your name are the ones whose spirit doesn't glitch when they see you winning. Everyone else can stay exactly where they chose to be, silent in the chat, loud in the sessions, spinning in circles around an outdated version of you. You've already left that storyline. You've already paid your price. This part of the movie belongs to the you that didn't just hear "you're winning," but finally decided to live like it, unapologetically, whether anyone in those rooms ever finds the courage to say it out loud again or not.